Namasri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Sachit Sukha Swarupaya Swamine Tapaharini. Topic you all know: spirituality, a luxury not many can afford. Who makes it a luxury? We ourselves make it a luxury. So we have to make ourselves qualified to get the membership of that elite club of spiritual seekers, right? It is one way available to everybody, but it becomes a luxury because of our incompetency, so as to say, or we have not fulfilled the necessary criteria. Otherwise, where God is not there, who cannot see God? The thing that is most obvious is God, but we are oblivious of the most obvious. We are oblivious of the most obvious. The thing that is available in superabundance is God, but the nature of the mind is such, it doesn't pay attention to that which is in superabundance. It craves for things that are in limited supply. But that which is in full supply, that which is everywhere there, that which is in superabundance is God. This is why in Yoga Vasishta, Vasishta asks Lord Rama, see infinite in every atom, he says. See infinite in every atom. In fact, that infinite is all pervasive. It is there everywhere. So your meditation must be like that. So in every particle of the universe, you should be able to see that infinite. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Parikshit says to Shuka Maharshi, Rajobhihi samasankhyatāha parthivairiha jantavaha tesham ye kechana ihante sreyo vai manujādayaha. Rajobhihi samasankhyatāha parthivairiha jantavaha. These physical bodies, parthiva sarira we say, physical bodies made up of 5 elements. Rajobhihi samasankhyatāha. Rajo means sand grains. As there are sand grains in this universe, so are the physical bodies. If you just count the number of all the physical bodies of all species, not just human, animals, worms, insects, ants, billions and billions of physical bodies. Rajobhihi samasankhyatāha, parthiva sarira, physical bodies. Those many are there. Tesham ye kechana ihante. Among all the individuals of this species, only human beings can seek sreyo vai manujādaya. Only human beings has this opportunity to seek sreya. Sreyascha preyascha manushyametaha tau samparitya vivinakti dhīraha. Upanishad says Sreya and prayer. Sreya means that which is good, that which is auspicious, that which gives us a real thing. Prayers means that which is pleasurable. In the short run it gives us some joy, but in the long run it brings a lot of misery. It doesn't actually really help us get the highest fulfillment. Rather, it entangles us more in Maya. It creates more bondage. That is prayers. Both approach human being. Tau vivinakti dhīraha, a wise man discriminates, thinks, reflects. Do I get eternal peace and happiness through this or not? So he discriminates and he discards prayers and chooses Sreyas in preference to prayers. He is a wise man, dhīraha. So here, Rajobhihi samasankhyatāha. There are n number of physical bodies in this universe, but all these bodies are not suitable to seek the truth. They are not organically endowed. They are not cerebrally endowed. The cerebral capacity is not there. We all know, just inference pramana we can use. An ant cannot have the question, who is the creator of this universe? If it can have that question, it would have dominated us. Because it has got that much of brains. A dog doesn't have, a cat doesn't have. No other creature has. That is the reason we consider ourselves most intelligent, because we could dominate all other animals. Because of the cerebral capacity, brain we have got. If these animals had more brains than us, than what we have, they could have dominated us. We would not have been 7.4 or 7.5 billion, right? So because of this cerebral capacity, we have practically, we have not showed that compassion we could have shown to these lesser species, lesser than us in terms of intelligence, but as life they are as important as our lives. An ant doesn't think that my life is worthless. Does it think? It doesn't crave for human life also. Okay? It doesn't have even that much of organic capacity. An ant thinks his life is perfect and complete in itself. Similarly, every creature has the right to think in these lines, to think that its life is perfect for itself. Yes. Just as we have our joys and sufferings, every creature has its joys and sufferings. So no creature considers his life as imperfect or insufficient. But among all these species, all the individuals of all these species, only human being has this capacity. Prayo mumukshavaha tesham kechanaiva dvijottama. Mumukshunam sahasreshu kaschin muccheta siddhyati. Prayo mumukshavaha tesham. Among all the people, among all the human beings, a few only will be the mumukshus, seekers after truth. Prayo mumukshavaha tesham kechanaiva dvijottama. Human beings are there today, 7.4 billion. But not everybody is a seeker after the truth. Not everybody is a mumukshu. Not everybody is a nirvana seeker. And then he says, Mumukshunam sahasreshu kaschin muccheta siddhyati. Manushyanam sahasreshu. The same thing. Mumukshunam sahasreshu kaschin muccheta siddhyati. Not everybody who strives for liberation, who strives for freedom, will become successful in getting freedom. Okay? Attempt is made, but you will have to make repeated attempts and you will attain to that supreme one day. But you will have to wait, you will have to struggle and struggle. Few only will attain, few only will achieve. And then finally, Parikshit says to Shuka Maharshi, Mumukshunam sahasreshu kaschin muccheta siddhyati muktanam api siddhanam narayana parayana. Muktanam api siddhanam narayana parayana. Sudullabha prashantatma kotishu api mahamuni. Muktanam api siddhanam. Even among those who have attained liberation. Oh Swamiji, what is there after liberation to attain? But we as devotees know, Sri Ramakrishna would talk about this parabhakti so many times. God will give you liberation, but He will never give you parabhakti. That is even higher than mukti. Parabhakti even higher than mukti. Because through parabhakti you can enslave God. God will become your servant. That's why parabhakti is even superior to mukti. God will be giving you, granting liberation, but He will not give you parabhakti because He has to become your slave. Why anybody wants to become anybody's slave? So He will protect Himself, He will not give, but it comes only through great struggle, through love and love and love. So Mukthanam api siddhanam Narayana Parayana. I want Narayana, who cultivates that kind of highest devotion, highest love for God. Sudullabha prashantatma kotishvapi mahamuni. Even among those who attain to the spiritual perfection, a few, rarest of the rare few, will attain to this prabhakti. This is what Parikshit says in Srimad Bhagavatam. So this spirituality becomes a kind of luxury for various reasons. One, today we say that people don't have leisure. Somebody was telling me yesterday, an IAS officer, he was telling me, not that Swamiji people are busy, they don't want to make time for this. If they want to make time, time is available for everything, right? And today we say, we are so busy, I have no time for God, I have no time for myself. You are all here, you could make time, right? It all actually depends on how willing you are, how serious you are about that. If it is your passion, if it is the ultimate thing that you seek, all time is actually you will be able to devote for that, right? But now that is not the highest preference for you. You have other things to do, okay, but at least we are asking you, give a little time for this spiritual sadhana. You have come here as a human being. You have this responsibility on you. It's your birthright to seek your true nature. But not many are willing, not many are ready to face their own minds. That is the problem. We want to study the whole universe with the instrument that God has given us, namely the mind. But we don't want to study and observe our own mind. Using this instrument, we want to study the entire universe. So some individuals actually who want to discern, who are rishis, sages, spiritually illumined sages? They are all the people who have decoded the universe, right? They are the people who have cracked the mystery of the universe. How did they crack the mystery of the universe? How they decoded the universe? Because they reflected deeply, pondered. What is my experience? How do I actually experience the universe? Where do I experience the universe? I experience the universe in the mind, right? In the deep sleep, you don't have mind. When you don't have mind, universe is not there. Universe is non-existent. From that experience, basing on that experience, they could come to the conclusion that universe exists only in relation to our mind. When there is no mind, there is no universe. So, I will be able to crack the mystery of the universe if I know the mystery of the mind. That much they could discern. And then they turned their attention inward. And then it was not a small struggle. Okay? Forget about actually turning inward and sitting in meditation for hours together, days together, months together. Okay? 5 minutes people are not able to sit restfully with themselves. That's the modern age. Right? We don't want to see, we don't want to look into our own mind. We have become so restless that we are rajasic, intensely rajasic. We have become. We want to only study the universe and have the experiences of the objective world all the time. Don't want to turn inward. That means you don't want to know yourself, you don't want to know the mystery of the universe. And if you don't know the mystery of the universe, whatever you may gain from this world, still some questions will be there. Some questions will linger in your mind. Not all the doubts will get dispelled. When there are doubts, there will be fears, there will be suffering, there will be trauma. So only when you become free from all doubts, the mystery of the universe is solved for me, then actually it's total fulfillment. What are we seeking in this world? Everybody. People are seeking only fulfillment. Peace actually is there, right? If there is no peace, actually everybody will seek that. When you eat food, you have peace. When you watch something, you have peace. You are at a relative peace. If you don't have that minimum peace, you can't even eat your food, right? You seek that immediately. But what we are seeking is basically fulfillment. Fulfillment means that state of mind after attaining which there is nothing more for you to seek. That is fulfillment. If there is something for you to seek, something more to obtain, then it's not fulfillment. You are not achieved what you really want to achieve. Yam labdvacha param labham manyate na adhikam tataha. Having gained which, no other gain you will find it as superior, a greater. Yam labdvacha param labham manyate na adhikam tataha. Yasmins tataha. Na dukkhena gurunapi vichalyate. Having attained to which state, even the greatest suffering can shake you. So that is the state we are all seeking. That is nirvana, that is mukti. That is super consciousness. How to attain that, how to seek that. So rishis have found it out. The universe exists only in relation to the mind. If I can crack the mystery of the mind, it's as good as knowing the mystery of the universe. So then they turned their attention inward. Then what did they find? What the mind is made up of? It is made up of desires. It is made up of volition. It is made up of ego sense. It is made up of hope. If you go beyond all hopes, all desires, they are all synonymous in a way. Volition, ego sense. The mind disappears. The ghost cannot exist sans desire. It cannot exist without volition. It cannot exist without ego sense. That's what it's made up of. So they struggled to drop that ego sense. It was a hard struggle, definitely. Because fear comes. What kind of fear? People know it, that it is, if you drop the ego, you will attain to nirvana. But do we have the strength to drop the ego? No. Right? They have not paid attention to me, they have not given respect to me. We keep complaining. You go somewhere, people have not received well, not paid any attention to you. You feel suffering, right? So many times you go outside, they don't even know how to receive a Swami. Sometimes they are so indifferent. Not that they have any, they're willfully disrespectful to you, but they don't even know. They don't even know. There's ignorance, a kind of tamas. In ignorance, a kind of tamas. So, but it should not bother you much, because there are various kinds of people. Some are tamasic, some are rajasic, some are sattvic, some have read scriptures, they know actually, right? So it all depends upon the individuals. So, but from your side, you should have gone beyond all this. Tulya ninda stuti mauni. Somebody actually, praises you, somebody actually censures you, criticizes you, but you are the same. You have that equanimity of mind. Your state of mind doesn't depend upon how people behave. So irrespective of what the nature outside throws at you, you are calm and you are composed and you are tranquil. Your peace doesn't get affected by things external, by circumstances. Irrespective of the way people behave towards you, you are established in that equanimity of mind. Then you are a sage. Otherwise, I want to fix the external world means you will have a hell of life. It's impossible. Practically, how many people actually you will be able to, make behave the way you want them to behave? Impossible, right? Sometimes we attempt. That Akbar Birbal story, some story is there, he wanted to see everything green. So he went on, painting everything green. Herculean task, thankless task. What you should be doing actually? You wear green glasses and everything appears green for you. Okay, subject has to be changed, not the objective world, because there are so many things objective world. Practically it is infinite. You can't fix this infinite universe. You can only fix this. Our rishis have figured this out, and that's the reason they turn their attention inward. So if I know the mystery of my mind, it is as good as knowing the mystery of the entire universe. So why we, though even understand intellectually and theoretically, we don't really turn inward? Because this mind is not a simple thing. It's a deeply conditioned presently now. So to face it, actually, it requires certain courage. And not many, I believe, actually have that courage, and that is the reason they find it a little difficult to turn inward. But you have to persist, A deep conviction, intellectual conviction must be there first, that this mind is Maya, this mind which is based on ego sense is the ghost, I need to handle it. And then when you develop strength through prayer and through other spiritual sadhana, mind tries to deceive you, tries to frighten you in all possible ways, right? It tries to frighten you in all possible ways. Hold on. One day it will understand that this guy is not going to leave me. He has understood my mystery. I can't cheat him anymore. I can't trouble him anymore. So it disappears. Because it's a fictitious entity ultimately. It's a fictitious entity. It's not real. There is no point actually in trying to frighten this individual. He has understood my nature. He is not going to leave me like this. I cannot dupe him. I cannot create illusion for him anymore. When it understands, it disappears. That is the moment actually you have attained to super consciousness. But so because it is after all Lord's creation, Daivi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya, the Lord says, it's difficult to overcome this mind because it is my delusion power. It's my Maya. Those who surrender to me absolutely, they only will be able to achieve this. They will be able to conquer the mind, it says. Conquering the Prakriti. It says, Kaschid Virha Avritta Chakshu Amrutatvam Icchan, Upanishad says. The Dhiraha means, that's bold people who are really heroes. They will only turn inward. They will only want to handle the mind. They will only want to deal with it. I will seek your annihilation. No, I am not going to leave you. So whatever you may do, however hard you might try to frighten me, but I am not going to be frightened. You will say, you will develop that sankalpa, and then you are ready to wrestle with the mind. And what it takes to, conquer that all, you will do it, and then one day you will attain to nirvana. So why the struggle becomes so difficult, why spirituality becomes the exclusive possession of a few because of this. We don't want to face our own mind. We don't want to study ourselves. We don't want to be in ourselves. We are all just preoccupied. Today, if you just see in society, we have three kinds of people. People who do not have leisure because, for various reasons, they don't have leisure. Really, they don't have. Maybe the life is like hand-to-mouth existence. 14, 15 hours, I have to only struggle to make both ends meet. There are so many people in this country. Really hard struggle. The basic necessities of life. You can't expect them to become spiritual. You study your mind and now become a philosopher and attain mukti. You can't give this goal to them. The second people who have leisure, but they don't know what to do with the leisure. That's what boredom is, right? What is boredom? People are saying, I'm bored. What do you mean by bored? You have leisure and you don't know what to do with that leisure. That's why you're bored. And there is third category. They have leisure, but they misuse the leisure. So they are not engaged, in spiritual sadhana because they don't have taste for spirituality. They don't have taste for this truth seeking. It has to come. They don't feel the need as yet. Ramakrishna gives the example of that. 3 kinds of fish caught in the net. The first kind, he doesn't even understand that it is, caught in the net, simply, nicely sleeping inside the net. How they used to sleep outside the net, now inside the net the fish is sleeping, oblivious of the fact that a few minutes from now actually the fisherman will come and drag the net and it would be death for them. They don't understand that they're so nicely within the net comfortably sleeping. And the second, it has understood that it is caught, it will struggle, but not that intensely. And the third, actually, is understood that it's caught, makes all the struggle possible and then jumps out of the net. And so they have to feel that you are in bondage. You cannot struggle for freedom, and the desire to become free arises only when you understand that you are bound. You are in Maya, you are in bondage. Not many even feel that they are in bondage. Not many understand that they are caught already in this cycle of life and death. So there is a question of seeking liberation. Seeking freedom arises, and the desire for freedom arises only when you understand the nature of bondage. We are absolutely bound. The present existence is bondage. That's what Maya is. So rishis and sages ask us actually, you come out of within this bondage, within the limits of this bondage, you can never have real peace and fulfillment. There is no possibility. It is not there. You have to transcend. You have to come out of the bondage and attain freedom. There only true fulfillment, there only the real peace, eternal peace, immortality. Here neither immortality, nor true peace, nor fulfillment. You cannot have in the relative world. You have to transcend the relative. So what are we doing with all the technology and with all our knowledge and wisdom? We are trying to make this as perfect as possible, this relative world. Okay, the attempt is good, but it's ultimately, the ultimate analysis is a thankless endeavor. You will not be able to perfect it because after all it is a relative world. Relative will always remain relative. You have to transcend the relative and attain the absolute. In absolute only there is peace and fulfillment. Because relative is always imperfect. Relative means this physical and the psychological. There is that spiritual, that alone actually is perfect because that alone is the infinite. That which is limited by time and space can never be the infinite. This is why in Yoga Vasishta asks Rama, meditate on the infinite, think about the infinite. The physical and the psychological is always limited. And so here you cannot have true fulfillment and true peace. That which is beyond time and space alone is the infinite, and in the infinite alone actually true fulfillment is possible. So, to transcend Maya, to overcome mind, to drop this ego sense, it requires strength. So when you understand the nature of the bondage and when you feel suffocated by this bondage, so how eagerly you seek liberation depends upon how suffocated you are, how intensely you feel the nature of the bondage, and that it depends how intensely you can long for freedom. No, I am in bondage. Okay, if you say that, you can't really struggle for. Okay, I understand that I am in bondage, but still I don't feel the that need to attain freedom immediately. Maybe so, nature will give you blows. You'll have to wait for some more time. But somebody understand that, it's getting a human birth is also not a simple thing. I have got it, the perfect instrument with which highest can be sought. So that individually will not waste even a single day. And Sri Ramakrishna used to give this example, no? A robber is sleeping this side of the room. There's very thin wall actually separating the robber from another room. In that room actually all gold and diamonds are kept. So can he sleep in this room? He is after all a robber. Can he sleep in this room comfortably? No. Because he will be looking for those diamonds and gold. Somehow I want to break through this wall and I have to catch that gold and diamonds. So that will be the, eagerness of the robber to take that gold and diamonds. Similarly, if you really understand that there is a Lord dwelling in your heart and you can reach Him, how can you comfortably sleep and engage yourself in all these worldly activities? No. When such a precious diamond is there in this mind called the body and mind, can you overlook that? No, I have to possess the diamond, this birth itself. But then actually real sadhana will come out of that individual. May not be, like Sri Ramakrishna kind of dispassion we don't have, but at least you will be a little sincere in your struggle and your sadhana. So in Vedanta, we call about this pravrutti and nivrutti. The people who are in pravrutti means they have not even understood that. Okay, it is the annihilation of the mind that brings true fulfillment in life, and that is the only endeavor worth undertaking. All other attempts are only to give some physical comfort, some little money, some little happiness, some little joys you will get, but not the true fulfillment and true happiness. They have not even understood that yet. That's why they are in pravrutti and trying to make the best of this life and make the best of this world, but they will never be able to make, because the best actually will happen only when you turn your attention inward and through nivritti alone. And because of this reason only, spirituality becomes the exclusive possession of a few people. There are the privileged group. Not that they don't want to give that privilege to others, but others, through their incompetency, they make themselves ineligible for that. That's all. Otherwise, everybody can join that club, everybody can become that privileged group. So this understanding, not many has this understanding, that is the reason they deprive themselves of this opportunity of seeking the truth. So that's why you have to hear this again and again, again and again, again and again. Slowly, the seeds will get planted there. Seeds have to be planted. And, that's why Sravana, Manana and Nididhyasana. In Vedanta, we talk about this, Sravana. You are actually listening all the time that I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am the Atman, I am the spirit, I am the Atman, I am the Atman. So immediately we don't understand anything. Okay, I am only the body and I understand and feel, experience only the body, and also I feel the mind sometimes. So only I am aware of the physical and the psychological, the other dimension of personality, my personality, the soul actually. It is not in my experience. But you have to hear and again. So what do you mean? What is the meaning of this statement that I am not the body and I am not the mind, I am the soul or consciousness? What does that mean? Yes, is there a third dimension to my personality? You will reflect slowly, then understanding will dawn on you that the physical is insentient. Physical is not self-luminous. The psychological is also insentient. It is also not self-luminous. Behind these two is the soul or consciousness, which actually animates these two, makes these two function. So, the real being, and the real being of my personality is this soul alone. Though it's not in my experience, that is the reality of my personality. When you understand this, you want to reach that, you want to experience that, you want to become aware of that. Then some struggle will come, some sadhana will happen, definitely. But you must understand the value of it, how precious it is. Through this finite, getting the infinite. Infinite means that which has created this mighty universe. Is it a small possibility? Even from utilitarian point of view, people ask actually, Swamiji, when he was in the West, people had asked him many times, so what is the utility of your spirituality? Fine, your philosophy is beautiful, it's logical. Why should I actually seek spiritual? Why should I be spiritual? Why should I seek the truth? What will I gain? Utility, no? Everybody asks, right? We think we are logical, utility. Yes, Swamiji says, even from utilitarian point of view. First he says that, why? So what is your sense of utility? Everybody has their own idea of utility. A small kid, baby, what is the baby's idea of utility? You give a gold bar and you give a chocolate, baby will only pick up the chocolate. Baby, it won't pick up the gold bar. The baby's idea of utility is different. Okay, in the same way, every individual has their own idea of utility. And Swami says then, even from the utility point of view also, it is highly rewarding. How? It will give you immortality, it will give you infinite existence. Whatever that you attain in this world, okay, how long you will enjoy? As long as the body lasts. How long the body lasts? How fragile it is. It is too fragile. It is too tiny a thing in this universe, right? The physical body. And why to hold on to that fragile thing? Anyway, one day it will break. One day the death will snatch us away from us. Then why to hold on to this? So that means you are not really ambitious. People think that they are very ambitious, but not really ambitious. This is the real ambition, seeking the infinite. Right? Nalpe sukham asti, bhumatveva sukham. Only in the bhuma, only in the infinite there is a real peace and fulfillment. Nothing finite, nothing limited can ever really give you true peace and true fulfillment. So seek the infinite. In fact, we are seeking the infinite, albeit unconsciously. Where to seek the infinite, we do not know. That's why people are seeking the infinite and the finite. On material plane, that is the problem. So greed, more and more I want. What you will do? The thing that you have accumulated, you cannot enjoy in this birth. Maybe hardly another 10 years or 15 years of life is left. But how much you need? But still, I don't know how else to engage, where else to engage my energies. Turning inward is such a terrible thing because I can't face my own mind. Because the ghost, right? After all, mind is ghost. Formidable ghost it has become because the samskaras that we have gained through previous births and the samskaras that we have gained in this own birth. Mind will ask, how dare you turn inward? How dare you? You want to annihilate me? You want to conquer me? It will say, okay, you want to wrestle with me? This is why. All these psychological problems, how do they arise? If I have the capacity to study my own self, if you have that inward bent of mind, okay, you will immediately trace the negative thought that you have and you plug them out as soon as the negative thought enters and arises in your mind. So you are always joyful, you are all healthy. No, because we neglect the mind. We neglect the mind because we are afraid to face the mind. And so these complexities actually will increase over a period of time. The conditioning gets deepened further. Okay, mind means condition. Without conditioning, mind cannot exist. Unconditioned mind means no mind. If mind is totally unconditioned, it is no mind. Certain condition we bring with us from the previous births. Okay, we have come into this world means a conditioned mind. You have to uncondition it over a period of time. And if it is completely unconditioned, there is no mind state. You attain to that state of freedom. So, but sometimes instead of actually making the mind unconditioned, if you live unconscious life, mind gets further conditioned. More complexes will enter into the mind and actually create problem for us. So this unconditioning of mind happens through inquiry, self-inquiry. Who am I? What is my real nature? How my mind functions? This turning inward is called nivrutti in Vedantic parlance. This nivrutti actually gives you the true fulfillment and the highest reward in life. So, our rishis actually have always advocated, dhiraha, be a bold man, be a hero, be a bold individual, turn inward and seek the truth. Seek the truth, truth is within. This is not a small discovery, that the God is actually dwelling in your own heart, where you seek for the infinite, so close to you. So it's then, if it is in me, why don't I experience it? Because of ignorance. Then what I have to do? Just become aware of it. The room is dark, what you have to do? Light the lamp. When there is light, darkness cannot exist. Darkness and light cannot coexist, right? So there is only one consciousness. Because of the ignorance, it appears as if it is divided. The you and I, it is actually not there. It's only one consciousness. Then why this you and I has come here? Because of this ignorance. This maya, this mind, creates division in that homogeneous consciousness. So this is fictitious. This world appearance, Yoga Vasishtha uses only this word. It doesn't say the world. When you use the word world, you are saying that actually it is a real entity. Why do they say the world appearance? It's not a real entity. It is only a fictitious entity that exists only in relation to the mind. That is the reason the world appearance. The world appearance will disappear when knowledge dawns on you. This classic example in Advaita Vedanta, that there is only rope, but you have superimposed snake on it. There is only consciousness. You have superimposed world on it. There is only that homogeneous consciousness, but you have superimposed this world of name and form on it. There is only rope, but you have superimposed snake. But as you are experiencing snake, all experiences like fear and trepidation all will be there. For that moment it is real, but absolutely it's not real. From absolute point of view it's not real, because you have superimposed the snake on the rope. So the world is frightening us, actually is creating so much of trauma in people, but it's unreal. But when you understand it's you who have superimposed this snake on the rope, but two cannot. When you are aware of the snake, you are not aware of the rope. When you are aware of the rope, snake disappears. That's the problem now. When you are aware of the world, you are not aware of the consciousness. When you become aware of consciousness, you will not become aware of this world, in the sense that it's not that concrete for you. It's just an appearance. Maybe there it is there, but it's an appearance. You don't care for it. So why it becomes difficult for us to turn inward, to face the mind? So to deal with the subtle is always difficult. To deal with the body is the easiest thing. Okay? To deal with the subtle thought actually is a bit difficult thing. The power is packed in the subtle. Nerve controls muscle, but muscle cannot control nerve. Power is always packed in the subtle. So mind controls the body cannot control the mind. So it's easy to handle the physical. That's why you educate yourself. You can be a laborer, you can be a daily wage earner, because you want to educate, you want to work on the subtle plane. While educated people are more respected, because he is working with the subtle, right? So doing with the physical is easier. That is the reason we struggle so much. Sometimes our education gives different problems. They are more happy, maybe. Uneducated and illiterate, those who are at a physical level are far happier than us. But education has really created kind of mess in the society, because ill-conceived education system. The purpose and goal is not conceived well. That's the reason actually educated suffer more. You should have empowered you, but the reverse thing has happened. Instead of empowering people, actually it has enfeebled them. So it's always difficult to deal with the subtle, to work at the thought level. So to get a grasp, to get a grip over the mind, you have to struggle. What kind of struggle is required? What is the best aid for you in that? Renunciation, dispassion, going beyond hopes and desires. These hopes and desires are strengthening the mind. To get a grip on that, to get a hold on that, you must weaken the mind. Weaken not in a conventional sense, I am telling. Today actually mind is very formidable. It is so strong, it dominates us, it rides on us. You want to ride on the mind. You want to bring it under your control. It should listen to you, it should take commands from you, but it is commanding you now, right? So, you don't want to take commands from the mind, you want the mind to take commands from you. That means the mind should become your slave, our slave. For that, you have to hold on to it. You have to get a grip on that. To get a grip on that, but it is so strong now, it doesn't give us that chance. What made it strong? These desires, these hopes. This way again and again. Vasishtha says to Rama, give up all hopes and desires from within. Be an empty individual and then engage yourself in action. Outwardly, just like any other individual. Other individuals' action is different, but your action is different. Other individuals are attached, they want to gain things and enjoy things, but you have no such desire. You have gone beyond all hopes and desires. But you are engaged in action. You have nothing to achieve anything from this world. You are totally detached from everything. So you may say that if I am totally detached, why should I engage in action? So at that level, action or no action makes no difference. But just to set an example for the rest of the world, because action is of no importance for you, because you don't have your mind on the outcome of it. You don't have anything to gain from the world. You are self-fulfilled, you are self-established, but still easy is engage in action. So you have that inner tranquility, you have that inner peace already you are established in yourself. You don't have anything to gain from the world. You have touched consciousness. So then the world of objects is no more need for you. After attaining to that state, but still engage yourself in action, Rama says, Vasishtha says to Rama. So, to handle this subtle, to handle the mind, we have to weaken it. Okay, then you can hold your hand on it. To weaken it, you should go beyond desires and hopes to the extent possible, We can't just pluck out all desires overnight. That's why dispassion is the tool, is the greatest aid in the spiritual sadhana. And if somebody says no dispassion is required, you will master your mind and you will attain nirvana. It's an empty talk. When Arjuna asked Krishna, I find it very difficult, Krishna, to control this mind. Vayoriva sudushkaram Just as you cannot handle air in your fist, I find it difficult to control this mind which is full of thoughts. Krishna says, yes, you're right, but he says, abhyasena tu vairagyena cha gruhyate. When the Lord himself has said abhyasa and vairagya, when the constant practice and dispassion. You could have given a shortcut if Krishna had one, right? There is no other shortcut. So dispassion is a must. There is a reason. This is the land of renunciation. Be detached and be the king of the universe. So, to gain that absolute, relative you must make zero. I want both, not possible. So, if you are conscious of the body, we are fully conscious of the body, and handling the mind becomes difficult. So, to handle the body, and we have to withdraw from the body a little. You have to be in the mind. When you are in the mind, it becomes easy for you to handle the body. And you withdraw further from the mind, get established, come closer to consciousness. Then you will be able to study the mind and you will be able to handle the mind easily. So, to withdraw into oneself, you are less on body and less on mind. That means you are closer to consciousness, you are closer to self, you are closer to Atman. The closer you are the Atman, the easier it becomes to control the mind. And once you are fully established in Atman, mind disappears, it's too fictitious. When you are not identified with it, it cannot survive because it has no existence of its own. Without hope or without desire, it cannot survive because mind is based on only hopes and desires, sans hopes and sans desires. It is dead. It is no mind. That no mind state is nirvana, that no mind state is kaivalya. This is the land of kaivalya, this is the land of nirvana. We shall keep it so, right? India is the land of spiritual seekers. There is no other country where you find these many conscious spiritual seekers as you find in this country, and we must keep India that way. Mukti and moksha should be the one aspiration of all the individuals who are born in this country. If others also should seek it, if they seek it, it's good. But if they don't understand it, we can't help. But at least we should understand because it is the land of sages and saints, land of rishis, land of people who decoded the mystery of the universe. Land of people who have cracked the mystery of the universe. We are all the descendants of such sages. So, Rushi Runa, there is a debt we have to pay to them. How you will pay that debt? By reading books like Yoga Vasishta and Srimad Bhagavatam and lives of people like Sri Ramakrishna, Vivekananda, Ramana Maharshi. All these illumined sages, they are the beacons. We can take their help and move on the path. They are the guides. They have left a legacy for us, spiritual legacy, spiritual wisdom, the highest wisdom man can aspire for. So let us pay our tribute to these great illumined souls by reading their lives and teachings and taking inspiration from their lives and teachings as much as possible to progress on our spiritual path. We will stop here for today, 6:30. We shall meditate for a few minutes before we disperse. All your possessions you have dropped outside this basement hall and you are sitting here empty. Possessions, I don't just mean your physical possessions. Body also, which you possess. Your mind also, you have dropped outside. You are just sitting empty as yourself. When you go out after meditation, you can have all your possessions back.